we're going to do a budget deck on, or how I would start a deck in Death, and then obviously, as I said, we're going to skip the wild editions, and we're only going to focus on modern editions, because if you're new to this game and you're just coming in, it is far more cheap to focus on modern format than to focus on the entire collection, which is wild format. For all of you guys that don't know, wild format will be everything, which will include alpha, beta, and promo, which will there be for collection 1. Some of the reward cards is part of collection 1, Untamed and Dice is collection 2, and now Chaos Legion and then soon to be Rift Watchers is going to be collection 3. So modern is collection 3 as well as collection 2. So when you start this game, you get all the commons and rares for Untamed and Chaos Legion. So this is your current deck when you first start the game. So things to note, you'll have your Bone Golem and your Wudoku as your position 1 tanks. You've got a few magic cards. You've either got Tanda's Brood or a Contessa to be your summoners. So you either minus archer damage or you minus magic and 1 HP. I typically would recommend playing the Brood. And then you've either got a choice of some stealth assassins or some archers. But basically, you've only got 2 magic cards at the moment, being the Death Elemental and the Life Sapper. So what cards are we going to pick up? Let's start with the commons and the rares as always. So we'll look at the rewards and the dice cards to see if there's anything we need to pick up. These older backgrounds on the Minotaur, Skeletal Warrior, Octopider, Vampire, and Boogeyman, those are edition 1, so those are going to be for the wild cards only. So even though there are some really good cards like Octopider to be a really strong backline archer, you don't have to worry about it right now. It can be sent back. So what cards should we focus on? Rotwell's pretty cool for $8. He's a really cool 3 mana cost anti-magic, but you've also got a Tanda's Brood that's anti-magic. So there's an argument to put him in, but actually looking at the other cards, I'm not too impressed. Like Undead Rex is cool, but he doesn't have enough tankiness that I like to put him in position 1. He does have a shit ton of like damage, which is really fun when you first start the game, but it's nothing too amazing. Bonesmith is pretty cool, so I would argue, okay, we'll buy a Bonesmith because you get an extra mana card, which is always fun to play with. The Deceiver, you don't need. Mara's Ghost, Phantasm, less important. I don't like Nightmare, I'd rather have an Undead Rex. Dark Ferryman is a good card, I would recommend it, but if you, nope, don't buy from AO4, always buy from the one cheaper. This guy's a piece of shit. So the Dark Ferryman's interesting because it gets cripple. So if you get the opportunity, you should always get cripple. So I had like this one's very standout because it's not common that you get an ability straight away at level 2, but you do in this case. If you can get it to level 3, it's even better because then it gets the extra damage plus cripple. So I'm not one to ever recommend a new person starts off buying a card that's leveled, because obviously their summoners aren't leveled. But in this case, cripple really is important. So I'm actually going to buy a level 2 one with cripple, with the expectation that as my death deck grows, I'm going to grow with it. And a Dark Ferryman is a perfect backline archer because it has lots and lots of HP to use as the plug, and then cripple plus 1 damage is good enough for me. Ideally we want a level 3, but for now we're going to just stick with this. I'm not picking up an Undead Rex or a Nightmare or a Pelacor Deceiver because we have better tanks with the Bone Golem and the Cursed Winduku. Grim Reaper is a really cool card because it's got 3 damage and 3 HP and Affliction, so it's really good in Equalizer games. So I don't want to buy from AO4, so I'm going to buy from Dexa. But yeah, picking up a Grim Reaper just because he's a really good card for Equalizer, but I would mostly use the Dark Ferryman as the plug. Rotwell, great card, but I think we're not going to spend $8.5 on him. We're going to focus on the Thandis Brood. So let's now go on to the epic cards. Oops. Okay, so when looking at the epic cards, the Phantom Soldier is the only promo or position 1, it's actually a reward card, but it's the only set 1 card, so it's the only card that we're not going to look at because it's not built for modern, it's built for wild. So when we look at the Warlock, it's got recharge. I really hate recharge, so I'm not going to recommend it. A Soulstorm, really good card, lots of speed, very bad HP, and it's basically the better version of a Grim Reaper because it's got better speed and also it will eventually have better abilities. But because we're on a budget, we're not going to spend $11 on a better version. A Grim Reaper, oop, that's a level 4 one, sorry. Let's go pick up our Grim Reaper again. Sorry, I bought Dex's one. I need to buy Mammoth's one. So Grim Reaper, good card, 3 damage, 2 speed, 3 HP. So it's got higher speed, but it's got worse speed than a Soulstorm, and it's got more HP. But for its price, it's nearly what? Nearly 5-6 times cheaper, or it is 6 times cheaper. So for that reason, we're not picking up the Soulstorm. We're happy enough with the Grim Reaper. That said, I really do like having these cards, such as the Magi. Great card to have. It's got the 2 magic damage, which is what we're looking for. It's got Snipe and Camouflage, so hopefully it can avoid the cards with Reflect. If you got $6 US to spend, would you rather have a Mage or Shadowy Presence? I'm gonna pick up a Shadowy Presence. I use it so much that it justifies it. This is basically a 1-mana position 1 card, and it keeps all of your super squishy cards safe for a little bit longer. Or if you're playing archers, it just keeps the archers attacking 1 round longer. I'm also going to pick up a Darkest Mage because it's a 2-mana magic card with 2 HP. Like, this is probably my most used card. Like, this card as well as the Shadowy Presence, I use all the time when I play Death. It's super good. So I kind of have to pick them. Let's see how we're doing for budget. We're at $20 already. We might have to like cut some things. Like Bonesmith I'm going to cut out because just by playing this game, there's a good chance you'll get one. So it's not the most important thing when you first start out. But having these cards is much better in my opinion. We can even argue that you can cut out the Ferryman. And then you'll work your way to that once you get a leveled summoner. But for now, these are the 5 cards I'm comfortable with. When we look at legendaries, man, Cthulhu's cool. Like, I love Cthulhu. Like, yeah, Cthulhu's great. Nightshade, not as important as you would think. I would rather actually have a Shadowy Presence than the Nightshade, so don't have to worry about that. Fallen Spectre, really good, but you need levels on it to get all the abilities out of it. Also, it's like very focused on Equalizer. Mimosa Nightshade, great card as well, but obviously out of our budget for now. The Jin Marat for $6, not bad. The 2 magic damage, it's honestly not bad. I don't use it enough to justify picking it up. Let's think. So instantly we obviously need to pick up a Fiend because a Fiend is always worth it because of how much you'll use it. But by picking up the Fiend, we might need to take away either Shadowy Presence or Darkest Mage, because it kind of fits in the similar role. So we'll take away Shadowy Presence for now, because I do like Darkest Mage more. Because yeah, the Corpse Fiend will operate the same way as the Shadowy Presence. And then I'm picking up a Hawklaw because it's got shield. So in any anti-magic game, you putting a Hawklaw down is never a bad thing. And then how much cash do we have? We got 22 bucks. So now the choice is a Lyra Dark or a Jin Murat. I don't know why this is so much more difficult than I thought it would be. So we got we got archers and there's so many archers and there's so many magic damage. So I'm gonna sit on the fence and say it's up to you guys. If you've got extra cash to spend, you can consider Lyra Dark. Having an opportunity with 6 speed is always cool. It will snipe, unless they've got HP, it will snipe some cards, but because everyone's going to be buying Corpse Fiends, it's a good thing. It's like there's a high probability that your Lyra Dark will snipe a Fiend first, but either way, it's still a cool card to have an opportunity. Jin Murat, you'd put this in position 2, but you've already got so many other things you could put in position 2, such as your Corpse Fiend or your Shadowy Presence. Like I would rather have, actually no, that's it. I would rather have a Shadowy Presence than either of those two. Like I think you'll appreciate how much this card actually helps. So this is how I would spend $30 in Death. You've got a extra tank when you need it. You have a Shadowy Presence in position 1, position 2. You've got a Corpse Fiend to just take those hits, Darkest Mage and a Magi for magic damage, Ferryman, Grim Reaper for archer damage, and that's how you play your Death. Enjoy, guys. So please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. And if you're a new player, please use the promo code and I'll happily send you the $0.5 US back to you. It just lets me know that people are watching and using the promo, and I'm helping new players join the community. Also, if you find me on the Discord, just pop me a message. I'll happily delegate any of the new players some power